this video, I'm walking you through one of America's most haunting unsolved disappearances. 3 women who vanished without a single trace. It was June 6th, 1992. Graduation night in Springfield, Missouri. 18-year-old Susie Streeter and her best friend Stacy McCall had just finished celebrating their high school graduation. Like most teenagers that night, they were excited, exhausted, and ready to sleep. The plan was simple. After attending a few graduation parties, they decided to spend the night at Susie's home on East Delmar Street. Susie lived there with her mother, Cheryl Levitt, a 47-year-old cosmetologist known for being warm, protective, and deeply devoted to her daughter. Nothing about that night felt unusual. No signs of danger, no arguments, no threats, just 3 women inside a quiet home in a quiet neighborhood. By the next morning, all 3 of them were gone. The next morning, Stacy's mother, Janice McCall, drove to the house to pick the girls up. They had plans that day, normal plans. Life was supposed to continue. But when she walked up to the front door, something felt off. The door was unlocked. Inside, everything looked normal. The television was on. The house wasn't ransacked. There were no signs of a struggle. No broken furniture. No blood. Susie's car was still in the driveway. Stacy's car too. Their purses were inside. Their clothes from the night before were neatly folded. Even Cheryl's cigarettes were left behind, something friends later said she would never leave without. 3 women, cars outside, personal belongings inside, but no one home. At first, Janice thought maybe they stepped out briefly, maybe breakfast, maybe errands. But as the hours passed, confusion slowly turned into fear. When police arrived, the scene only deepened the mystery. There were no signs of forced entry, no evidence of violence inside the home, but outside, investigators noticed something strange. The porch-like globe had been shattered. Glass was scattered near the front door. At first, it didn't seem significant. It could have been unrelated. But then police learned something troubling. The glass had already been swept up earlier that morning by friends who entered the house before authorities secured the scene. In those first critical hours, potential evidence may have been destroyed. Fingerprints were everywhere, but there was no way to determine which ones mattered. And just like that, the investigation began at a disadvantage. Neighbors were interviewed. No one reported hearing screams. No gunshots, no loud disturbance in the night. 3 women had vanished from a suburban home without waking anyone nearby. As word spread, the house phone began receiving strange calls. Several were described as explicit and disturbing. One caller made comments that felt personal, almost like someone watching the situation unfold in real time. Police attempted to trace the calls. They never found who made them. Then came another eerie detail. A neighbor reported seeing a green van parked near the home around the time of the disappearance. It wasn't a vehicle anyone recognized from the neighborhood. By the time investigators focused on it, the van was gone. No confirmed license plate, no identified driver, just another unanswered question. Over the years, multiple suspects were examined. One of the most discussed was Robert Craig Cox, a convicted kidnapper who had once lived in Springfield. He later claimed he knew what happened to the women but refused to provide details. He reportedly told his own mother that the women would never be found. Despite the chilling statement, authorities never had enough evidence to charge him in connection to the case. Other theories suggested the women may have known their attacker. After all, there were no signs of forced entry. That detail alone raises an unsettling possibility that someone was allowed inside willingly. Was it someone they trusted? Or was it a calculated predator who found the perfect opportunity? Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into years. Searches were conducted across Missouri. Tips were investigated. Fields were scanned. Leads were pursued across state lines. But no bodies were ever found. Not a trace of Cheryl Levitt. Not a trace of Susie Streeter. Not a trace of Stacy McCall. It's as if they simply stepped out of existence. For the families, the pain never ended. There was no confirmed goodbye, no funeral, no final chapter, just an endless state of uncertainty. Stacy's mother has spoken publicly for decades about the emotional weight of not knowing, about how hope and grief can exist at the same time, how every tip brings a surge of possibility followed by silence. And maybe that's what makes the Springfield 3 so disturbing. There is no confirmed crime scene, no proven suspect, no physical evidence tying anyone to murder. Just 3 women who went to sleep in their own home and were gone by morning. More than 30 years later, the case remains open. Someone knows what happened. And until the truth is uncovered, the disappearance of Cheryl Levitt, Susie Streeter, and Stacy McCall will remain one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in American history. If you want to follow more cases like this, subscribe. Because until the truth comes out, we're not done talking about them.